Hi, and welcome to the Big Bear Homestead. Today is going to be episode number 18 on our predator control on the Homestead series. So today we are going to be setting the Duke #1 Foothold trap. Okay, so today we're going to be all about the little #1 traps. Whether they're Duke, Victor, Bridger, it doesn't really matter. And so I'm going to go over just a couple of real quick set locations that you can run around a creek or some waterways, or just different sets that you can set up on your homestead that you could do to help thin out your population of coons, possums, muskrats, things along that nature. So, with that being said, the first set that we're going to do is going to be a pocket set. Okay, so right now at this location, we're going to make what's called a pocket set. And all that really is when you go along your creek bed or this little beaver pond right here in shallow water, and as you can see, water's only about wrist deep. Your coons and possums will travel along this way looking into the side of the bank, and they're just looking for crawfish, any other type of small bugs and urchins and stuff like that that would be in these little pockets. So all you do is you take yourself a spade, or in this case I use my 3-in-1 tool, and I carve out a little pocket. Okay, got a nice little pocket right here where I can, enough space where I can bed this trap down in front of this hole that I punched back into the bank. Okay, and then all you do is take your trap like such, and then there's all type of different arguments whether you want the dog part of the trap to face the hole or angle it off. I always kind of cockeyed mine just a little bit. I angle it off to the side. I bed it in this mud to where the pan is just under the water, and then you take your chain, okay, and now you have to anchor it off to something. Whether it's a big rock, a log, or you take a big long stick and you jam it into the deep water and wrap the wire around it so that way he can circle around in it and probably die that way. The options are really endless. You can fasten it to a tree. You can bring grounding stakes out here. I know a lot of guys will weld rebar into a T-handle and drive those in there. That's what I'm going to start doing next year if I get a welder. And then you just anchor it, and then you bait this hole, and you go on to the next one. So we're going to finish this setup, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to show you what you can do with some aluminum foil. Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys a trick that I learned from my grandfather and then was reiterated from a friend of mine a couple years ago. Well, probably about a decade ago. Which is a trick you can do with aluminum foil, especially if you're trying to target coons. A raccoon is a very curious animal, so he sees something shiny, he's got to put his hand on it. So wrap your pan in aluminum foil. I know some guys that go and take their pans off and literally have them dipped in chrome so they'll shine. I don't go to that extent, at least not yet. I might, I don't know. But all you do is just like with that pocket hole set, I found a natural little pocket right here. Now I'm going to set this trap, and I'm going to place it to where the pan is just barely under the water, where the aluminum foil is still visible. And we'll set it up with another rock, put the rock to deep water, and we'll come back in the morning and he should be just drowned. So we're going to go ahead and set this up, and we'll come back, let you see it when we're done. And after that, we are going to show you guys a cubby hole set, a cubby set. So we'll get this knocked out and we'll be right back. Okay, now with this is called a Cubby Set, okay? And basically what that means is it's like a cubby, a little tiny house, a little tiny cave or something along that lines. And we got a natural run right here, which is really nice. So that way we don't have to add something new into the environment. Now see this cubby right here, let me show you with my arm. Okay, it goes all the way back in here. Okay, and that's as far as my wrist will go, but the hole goes back further. So that means field mouse, crayfish, something could have been living back in there at one point in time. So what we'll do is we'll bait it real heavy with some salmon oil, our homemade bait, and we'll stick it back in there, and then we'll put this number 1 right here at the base of the hole. Now I know you can't see it right now, but when we're done you'll be able to, Blaze will come around with a camera and shoot here. And you just put it right there, and then you again anchor it off to a rock or anyway. This time we're going to pound this stick in, because this trap which was donated to us by a friend of the channel has a drowning washer on it. So we're going to go ahead and set this up as a drowner and tie the wire to this beaver feeder stick, drive it into the deep water, and so then that way when it gets caught, it naturally just goes down that way. All right, so let us get this set up, and we'll come back with a final thought and some final tricks and a few other stories. So we'll be right back. Okay, so there you have it. Those are just 3 basic sets that you can do with the number 1. I mean, you can get, you could set a dirt hole in a flat set with these guys, but you won't be able to hold a big canine. Now, the reason why I just caveated and said big canine, a couple years ago, my son and I were stomping this creek, and I let him set, well, wait a minute, you're 17. So that was like 3 years ago. Time flies. But anyway, I was letting him set the number 1s up and down the creek bed for coons. And one morning we came around the corner, and he had a gray fox in this number 1 with both feet. I guess the gray fox was chasing a field mouse or something, and when he jumped over a log, he hit this one set that Blaze set for a coon, and we got back. When we came there in the morning, he was just there, just bouncing around. We ran over there real quick to dispatch him, but I mean, it is possible. But most of these things are set up for muskrat, coon, and possum. So be adventurous. Stomp the little creek beds around your neck of the woods, the culverts that run up underneath roads. Just make sure you anchor these traps really, really well. And then just let your imagination fly. Take the basics of the pocket hole, the Cubby Set, and then some type of an eye attractant set, and you'll put fur in your shed. And you'll also help eliminate a lot of the predators around your homestead. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of Predator Control on the Homestead. Come back next week when we're talking about the 110 conibear. Thanks for coming by the Big Bear Homestead, and like always, have a nice day.